I now have the pleasure to introduce Andy Nulman, the co-founder of Just for Laughs, a serial entrepreneur and all-around troublemaker. Andy, you just hosted the discussion, Future of Conferences, Eventful or Event Empty? I like that pun. Could you grab one of those questions there and we'll sort of break the ice like that?
Oh man, this is like a non-fattening fortune cookie here. Let's see if what the future holds, if there's anything a little bit more challenging or embarrassing. Here we go. Choose one, a dentist appointment or another Zoom meeting. Well, I got to tell you, when I go to the dentist, I get nitrous oxide.
Okay.
So basically, I'll choose a dentist appointment over just about anything other than a colonoscopy where I get fentanyl. I wish I were joking about this, but I'm not, because it's both things are true.
Both those things sound like a pretty bad trip.
But they're very, very true. So neither of these things bother me. But I got to admit, Zoom doesn't bother me in the least. I hate conference calls. I always thought conference calls were terrible because you never were able to tell what the other person is thinking, because you couldn't really look at it.
Yeah, there's no nonverbal.
Yeah.
You can't pick up on the hand or the sort of loss of interest in their eyes.
And basically, when I used to do conference calls, the things I would do while I was doing a conference call, I used to work out at times during conference. You can't do that anymore. But Zoom calls, they don't bother me in the least. And I've been on literally hundreds since March. They don't bother me at all.
All right. So from the conference you just hosted, what are some of the takeaways that you really want people to have?
Well, the takeaways are there was 3 other really brilliant people there who had a lot to say, and I think that the easiest takeaway is that this is a pivotal moment that it will change conferences forever. This opens up the door where what you do in one location can be seen simultaneously or staggered anywhere in the world. So it ups your game. I think what's going to happen is give this 5 years and you will see a dominant or dominant players, more than one, in the conference industry where somebody is going to crack the code and say, hey, you know what? We can produce a conference here and get some of the biggest speakers in the world, be they live or be they remote, package it, market it properly, charge for it, make money, and we are the leaders in that space. So I think that it will, I call it the Amazonization of the conference world, but I think that's really going to happen. People are going to figure out, and I think I'm not doing this because I'm here, but I think the Palais de Congrès has done a great job of taking that first step in developing studios such as the one we're sitting in right now to do stuff to this effect. So I really think that the same way that retail was changed by Amazon, and you have like a massive dominant player in that regard, you're going to see the same in conferences where there'll be 2, 3, 4 dominant players in creating and marketing this stuff around the world.
You've been a huge actor in this industry in Montreal. How do you think the event industry needs to change right now?
So what's important in an event? What are the important factors? There are 3. 1 is the networking, 2 is the deal making, 3 is the content. And we brought that up to the panelists, and they all said, well, it depends the event on how important each one of those 3 factors are in an event. There's entertainment events where it's all content. There are business events where it's completely learning, medical and very special legal events where it's complete content and learning. So it depends what the event is. But I really think that what has to happen is you need to be, it goes back to the point I made before about being more interesting than something else. I think what's going to happen are people are going to become stars of events, and I really have to say this, that they won't be the people you think are going to be the stars, because the speakers, one of the things about speakers is they had a speech and they were able to go ahead and say, I'm going to do this speech and I'm going to go conference to conference to conference and perform this speech 60 times, 70 times, 100 times because I'm going to different cities. Now, every speech is either recorded, put online, or if it's a hybrid event, or suddenly you're reaching a market and your value to go there with the same speech to another marketplace has diminished. So people who could improvise, come up with things differently, can be hosts, can be somebody who flies by the seat of their pants, are going to have an increased importance in the new world because they are creating on the spot versus saying, I'm going to create, be captured, and diffused.
You've been voted one of the top 100 Montrealers of the 20th century by the Montreal Gazette. It's not bad. It's a pretty good honor. You know our city very well. Do you think Montreal has what it needs to reinvent itself and come back stronger from this crisis?
I think it has what it needs when you're looking at the people. So find me a city where people, young people, the ones who will make this future, are are more ready to interact with the rest of the world than Montreal. The university element is strong. The technology element is amazingly strong. The AI, the entertainment, the cultural element is so strong.
Video game industry.
So all this together with a group of young people who can go ahead and see the world as just at their taking and can speak multiple languages. Tell me we're not ready.
Well, that's very exciting. Thank you. Thank you very much, Andy. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.